Greta Thunberg is in a Twitter beef with Andrew Tate. What the fuck is going on? And then he responded with a fucking pizza video. That's just more fucking clout for him if these charges don't fucking stick. This nigga's gonna end up running for president or some crazy shit. Like we're gonna end up having a goddamn Kanye Tate fucking ticket with Trump on the cabinet. Like some crazy shit is gonna happen if we don't rein some of this shit in, because
it's a red flag.
Yup. And welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the #1 dating and discourse podcast in the universe. It's your boy Eddie Overgold. Today joined by fucking nobody. Josh and Alvin are away, and we've been wanting to announce this for a while, but we haven't been able to kind of talk about it for NDA purposes. But they're going to be on Shark Tank this week. So stay tuned for this week's episode. They're actually pitching their 6-in-1 curl detangling, beard conditioner, shampoo, toothpaste, degreaser, vegan egg substitute formula, which I'm told, and this is a quote, is going to make them both richer than Ray J. So y'all watch out for this shit because it's going to hit stores very soon. It's top technology type shit. They will be back next week though, so let's get into the show. So the biggest news this week is world famous boxer, misogynist, podcaster Andrew Tate has been arrested by the Romanian government.
Tate is understood to have been detained in Romania on charges of human trafficking and rape.
This walkout looks way too cool and organized. Like, what is this? This is a fucking album cover. Why does this look so cool? Hold on, why is the news, if this was a raid, why was Romanian TMZ already ready to go to take pictures? I don't know. Now, you remember all you motherfuckers that when we on the podcast, when Alvin said, oh, this motherfucker's on the run for sexual trafficking shit, y'all said that was fake news? Bro, the Romanian, fucking special forces arrested this nigga. Now, you can still say, innocent until proven guilty, but the charge exists. The motherfucker has been arrested. I think that there is a danger that if he doesn't get convicted, that the cult of personality, the fake news thing that he's put out where he says, oh, they're just out to get me. Because he has this video where he says, I'm not scared of having been canceled or whatever. I'm scared because I've used one of my 3 lies. Because after they cancel you, then they try and jail you. And then if those 2 things don't work, then they kill you. And so they've already tried to do the cancel thing, which means next they're going to arrest me. And when that doesn't work, they're going to try and kill me.
So now I'm down to my last 2 lies.
I would never ever kill myself. I truly believe they're going to come and they're going to try and kill me on a long enough time frame because they tried to shut me up and I won't shut up.
So it looks like he's trying to put himself in a place where he's able to easily control and reframe anything that happens. Like if it came out tomorrow that he shot somebody in the street, he would easily be able to say, this is fake news. This is the Matrix or whatever the fuck he calls the establishment trying to bring him down because he is speaking the truth, because he's a messiah, because he's a martyr. So it's like pre-martyring yourself to inoculate yourself against any kind of criticism. So I think there's if he gets off from this, if this doesn't fucking work out, we're not going to hear the end of it. It's going to be a very bad situation for his supporters. I think he'll maybe lose some, but I think those that he keeps and gains will have a godlike veneration for the god.
Hell, I do.
Which is very dangerous, and everything will become, well, he's got some good points. Just hear him out. And all of that stuff that they said he did is fake. It never happened. Which is weird considering the fact that, at least some of the stuff adjacent to it, he just openly fucking admits.
Greta Thunberg then replied with this: yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. But rather than send an email to this
weirdest fucking beef of this year, these two having beef is just the wildest shit, and I think it low-key is a bad idea because it low-key legitimizes him even further. The fact that he is in some kind of discourse, some kind of conversationalist with a genuinely serious climate activist is just crazy. I feel like that actually adds points to his clout, which is fucking bad because it's like Greta Thunberg knows who he is, follows his content. That's just more fucking clout for him if these charges don't fucking stick. This nigga's gonna end up running for president or some crazy shit. We're gonna end up having a goddamn Kanye Tate fucking ticket with Trump on the cabinet. Some crazy shit is gonna happen if we don't rein some of this shit in. Because Greta Thunberg is in a Twitter beef with Andrew Tate. What the fuck is going on? Let me see what the official charges are, because I was at the Directorate for the Investigation of Organized Crime and Terrorism, which is the Romanian, like, these are like special police who are specifically for this type of organized crime. They've said that what he's being charged with is human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized criminal group. So there's 6 accusers. The 4 suspects appear to have created an organized crime group with the purpose of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen on specialized websites for a cost. Dangerous times. We'll see. Let's see what we got. This is one I wanted to talk about, actually. This is Brene Brown talking about her experience, which I've heard of a few times. Actually, Khadijah had mentioned her in their video. Let's see.
I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, "I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men." And I said, "I don't study men." And he said, "That's convenient." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters?" I said, "Yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down." When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else.
Now, see, this is a series of bars. Because I think, and this is a point that kind of like Josh and I have, I don't know, maybe butted heads on, which is that like, who's at fault for the whole nobody gives a fuck about men's mental health, men have it hard kind of conversation. But I think a lot of times we talk about like gender restriction on men, patriarchy, whatever you want to call it, and we act like that's only created by men, only upheld by men, and is essentially just men practicing some sort of form of removed self-harm. That is an oversimplification that I think removes our ability to connect and have just a little bit of empathy, because I think most women like value the men in their lives, their sons, their cousins, their brothers, their fathers, and want to find ways to connect and don't necessarily question the ways that they view men as much as they should. And we can say like, oh, toxic masculinity is all about, men telling boys to just man up. Boys, having toxic, homophobic locker room culture. And those are big parts of it. Those are really big fucking parts of it. But let's not fucking sit up here and pretend that the like woman who gets unattracted when her man cries in front of her doesn't exist. That a woman expecting a man not to like unload on this is one thing that I hear a lot that's kind of in line with this, which is I see women complain about playing therapist to their husbands. And I do think that there's some element of that, because men often don't have real intimacy outside of their romantic and sexual relationships, which means that the women in their lives get really bombarded with like what should have been spread across like 5 different people. They get all of it. They get all of this person's vulnerability. But when I hear the specifics of a lot of these stories, a lot of girlfriends and wives talking about their boyfriends and husbands saying, "He uses me like a therapist," what they're describing is being expected to be a partner. That what they are experiencing is being in a romantic relationship with someone, and they struggle to do that because they struggle to see men as human beings. They struggle to see men as capable of experiencing romance. Men in a lot of people's minds are a person who generates romance. And I think that we gotta just question that a little bit and go like, well, look, here's the thing. Emotional intelligence is not just your man understanding your emotions. It's about you being open and understanding his. And that is work. So you're going to do a lot of work. The second you and don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting up here saying the whole problem is women, but the half of it that is women's responsibility to show up in relationships is, if you look at your partner and go, this is a human being who has the exact same level of emotional depth and complexity and capacity to be harmed as I do, then you're starting the beginnings of having an actual romantic relationship. And that's going to be hard work. This nigga is going to cry. You're going to be the person that he comes to when he has difficult challenges. And it's going to feel like being his therapist a little bit, because that's what being in a romantic relationship with someone is, because that's what you do in a romantic relationship. That's what you expect, and that's what you should get. You should be able to talk to your partner about the things that harm you. But Brene said something at the end of this that I thought was interesting about like.
So I started interviewing men and asking questions. And what I learned is this. You show me a woman who can actually sit with a man in real vulnerability and fear, I'll show you a woman who's done incredible work. You show me a man who can sit with a woman who's just had it. She can't do it all anymore. And his first response is not, I unloaded the dishwasher. But he really listens, because that's all we need. I'll show you a guy who's done a lot of work.
Tell me that wasn't no bar. That wasn't no bar. Nigga, listen.
We've got a massive opportunity to help and heal one another if we start listening to the right fucking folks. Let the Andrew Tates and them niggas rest in prison for a little while. I think we've got a really good time ahead of ourselves, you know, if we allow it, you know what I mean? Check this shit out. Hold on. We're going to watch a trailer real quick. Now, I don't watch reality TV at all, really. The last reality TV show I watched was like Flavor Flav, which I love.
You guys are just jealous because all of my friends that know me tell me that I remind them of Beyonce. So you can.
Mental institution. This is crazy. Bitch needs a straight jacket.
This one caught my fucking eye, though.
Life has given me some curveballs. I think it's my time to find love.
I was married for 14 years. I want to get a chance to do me a little.
Young men have much more energy.
Okay, so premise: old bitches fuck high school boys. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. Okay, you know what? Look, more, I guess. Fuck, I don't know. Older women or just adult women explore you know, do you? You know what I'm saying? I think seeking specifically younger men is could potentially be a little bit strange. There's room there for that to be fucking weird. Cause they got this nigga goddamn fucking, what is he doing? Breakdancing? Yeah, it's a little, I don't know. It's giving slightly pedophile vibes.
They think out of the box. I want that.
Especially in the bedroom.
Doing a rolling R is the most old head, the most old head broad way of like, of expressing sexual interest. That's some old lady shit. Looking at a 20-year-old boy and being like, that's...
I am in this amazing, beautiful mansion here in Mexico. This is
okay,
the perfect
your boy,
place
okay.
to find
boy toy.
love.
All right, fair enough.
Welcome to the
Have a
villa.
good time.
You're
Yeah,
about to
you know what? I'm not
embark
even
on
mad
a
at
dating
it. I'm not even mad at
experience
it.
like none other. Let's go.
I have an extremely high libido. Is that too much saying I have an extremely high libido? Should I just have said high libido?
Ladies, where's all the men at?
Okay.
I'm ready to connect with somebody who doesn't really care how old I am. I will take over the city up. I'm just looking to have fun.
Here we go.
What the hell?
Okay. So the twist is that all 8 of the niggas are each of these 8 bitches' sons. Okay? Now, so to clarify, they're not fucking their own sons, but what's happening in the plot of this show is 8 women each try and fuck each other's 8 sons. That's what the plot of this show is. So imagine if you have a son or if you have a mom. Imagine if you're at a resort watching a woman your age boot up fucking your son. That's very strange. And they're doing a lot of swapping behavior, I'm assuming, right? Because it's a reality TV show. So they're going between, like, everybody's fucking everybody. I mean, hopefully the only thing that's off limits is the sons fucking their own moms. But these sons are going to be getting ran through by a bunch of their moms, like, contemporaries. This is very, like, in 10 years, I think what's going to happen is that we're going to end up having some trials. Especially seeing how like some of like Tyra Banks is like being retroactively canceled for like all of the fucked up, toxic, psychologically abusive, body shaming bullshit that she did, racist shit that she did during that her show.
Dentist, but you refuse to have your gap closed. Do you really think you can have a CoverGirl contract with the gap in your mouth? Yeah, why not? This is all people see. It's easy to reach beautiful CoverGirl. It's not marketable.
Yeah, just a little bit is okay, but I don't want to completely close it.
Well, I guess she just left the gap wide open for another girl, baby.
I agree.
The one where they're like adopting adults and shit like that. It's like 50-year-old men adopting like 23-year-old women from Ukraine, and just
adoption came to my attention when a young 18-year-old girl came and bought a puppy from us. Her father had passed away years before, and I just felt a need to help her in some way. She was interested. Unfortunately, I could not pursue that first young lady because I actually started having feelings for her. She was a very beautiful young lady.
Just weird shit like that. I think that we're gonna in like a decade, in like the 30s, we're gonna have some producers going to jail for this shit. We're gonna have some like surviving reality TV type shit. You know, people were like, look, I was 18, 19, 20, and they put a big shit ton of money in front of me and put me in situations where I was being psychologically and sexually abused. It's a little bit too close to real ass incest, because these aren't stepmothers. Not that would make it much better, but blood mothers. This is very incest vibes. This shit is criminal. And like, look, I hate to be the, but what about, what if the roles were reversed? Nigga? But if you had a motherfucking show where a bunch of 50-year-old niggas was on a show called Milf Manor, and they lined up 8 college co-eds, and each of those 8 was the daughter of one of the other, we would not tolerate that shit. So nah, cancel the whole show, throw everybody away, put the whole production team into prison. Not interested. Let's do some sad shit. Y'all want to get sad? Let's get sad. Hold on.
How old are you?
68.
What does it feel like to be 68 years old?
I'll answer that in depth if you want. You feel like...
This finna be fire. I can tell from the sunglasses. I can tell from the coat. Because you see how he warned us? He about to drop some OG knowledge.
You feel like you played tackle football the day before. You just can't remember why you feel so sore. And you're up and you're doing things and you're just really sore, And then you go into the bathroom and you go like this. Because all of a sudden there's this old face in front of you. And you go, holy shit, I'm old, I forgot.
I think that last bit is very profound, actually. Because our minds and our bodies age asymmetrically. Your body, and plastic surgery and Botox and
If you're in your 20s and you're wondering about getting Botox for the first time, this is the video for you. I'm Dr. Joyce, I'm a dermatologist, and I actually just got my Botox injected by a good friend, Dr. Elise Love, in New York about 8 days ago.
We worship this concept of youth to where everybody wants to be like, nobody wants to hit their 30s. Nobody wants to hit their 40s. Nobody wants to hit their 50s. Everybody wants to be hot and sexy just forever. I don't think it's just the individual being pathological. I think that it's not just an obsession with youth. I think it's also a discounting of the validity of different sections of life. We don't see enough adventures in film and in TV about what people in their 60s and 70s and 80s are doing. I'd love to see a fucking coming of age movie about like a 70-year-old woman who's just retired and is trying to figure out what her life is going to be. There's some of those. I mean, they did this trailer of, I forget who it is, but it was one of these British white ladies. She hires like a mixed, but a black sex worker.
Number 1, I perform oral sex on you. Number 2, you perform oral sex on me. Number 3, we do a 69, if that's what it's still called. 4, me on top. 5, doggy style.
Well, that all sounds very achievable.
Have I booked enough time?
You want to do it all today?
Yes. No.
It's supposed to be some very empowering you go girl shit, but to me it very much seemed like just a rich white person using a person of color who was a sex worker as like a punching bag for discovering themselves, and it didn't sit right with me. It didn't seem particularly profound. I think we're looking at it in like a girl boss profound way, like, oh yeah, like sexual exploitation, but it's done by a woman. That's feminist. It's like, I don't think that that's as useful or revolutionary as anybody really thinks, because white women doing sexual tourism with regard to black men and fetishizing black men is like, there's nothing revolutionary about that, dog. There's nothing revolutionary. There's nothing new about that at all.
Approximately 80,000 North American and European romance-seeking tourists travel to Jamaica every year.
But back to the old shit. I think that there's just really something very, very interesting about that idea of looking in the mirror and feeling like, oh, fuck no, I'm still that 16-year-old boy. I'm still that 25-year-old man. I'm still that 30-year-old man. And looking in the mirror and there's like a 50-year-old person looking back at you. And your body doesn't feel or move like your mind can imagine it moving. And there is something sad about that. Like, I know we can talk about, death is inevitable and we all age and we're lucky to age. And I'm going to get to that because there are elements of that I really like. But I think we understand that lots of that is inevitable. And so you have to figure out a way to rationalize it. But I think it is sad that we die. I think because life is fucking really short. It's 80 years. And let me tell you, if you had a young body, I think if you made a person immortal, like if I was immortal, I think it would probably take me a couple of 100 years to get bored of being alive. Like, don't get me wrong. I think eventually you would go, yeah, I want to die. But I think it would take a couple of 100 years before I was like, yeah, no, I think I've done enough in life. If I could just have the body of like a 35-year-old man for just like for all of my life and be immortal, it's like, man, see every country you want to see. Try every profession you want to have. Be gay for a summer, nigga. Like, whatever. Experience new technology. Because that's the other thing, is that the world is changing way faster than a person can experience it. So by the time you've traveled to every country and watched every movie, another 50 years of content and human culture has come out. So that's besides the point. Now I'm getting to sci-fi shit, but just, I think too, like, if we didn't spend half our life just working, half our life just lost at the beginning part, not knowing what the fuck is going on, the last third, you're older and your body isn't quite as in good shape, and you maybe haven't kept in shape, so everything is a little bit harder. You feel like you've just played tackle football. We would have much more boundless curiosity than we pretend like we do. I think people talk about, and there's a Jubilee video where they had 90-year-olds and 9-year-olds talking to each other. And it was very profound. So I'm going to put that up in a second. But they had them talking, and the old folks talked about not being afraid of death. And I agree. I think I used to be really afraid of death when I was younger, and I'm less and less afraid now. But I think not being less afraid of death and wanting to live more are two different things. But I think the beauty in being older is knowing yourself more and knowing reality more and being able to slow down and understand why you're doing what you're doing, and also getting access to grown folk talk, and being the person who hosts a Christmas dinner, or being the person who has to organize a wedding. Yes, there's those moments where you maybe look in the mirror and you're like, oh fuck, who is this old ass nigga? But I think there's also these moments where you're like, oh fuck, like and I'm not dead, but like, there's these moments where you feel like, oh, I'm grown. People look to me for help. Being somebody, I think there can be a lot of beauty in being somebody's grandparent. But yeah, wear sunscreen. You know what I'm saying? Because low-key people do treat you like shit when you look old.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
But basically, you think you require money to be rich.
Well, you can also be rich in love. I feel like I'm already rich in happiness. Good. Because I have nice friends, I have a nice family, and I have a pretty nice life. I'm actually pretty
wise motherfuckers. You need to start listening to kids, man, because they live in the world that old people haven't lived in. I think we always talk about like the wisdom of old age, but there's a wisdom to youth. I think when you're 90, you've not participated in the world for so fucking long. You've got currency in a collapsed state, essentially. I also think the faster the world moves, the less and less value ancient wisdom, like within the lifetime of a single human being, has. Yeah, I think that's a change that we'll see as the world starts moving quicker and quicker and quicker, where you've got AI building AI and shit like that, and you've just got a constant stream of fucking new companies, new businesses, new social media influencers, new social media trends, etc., etc. I think the value of that older wisdom will just wane and wane and wane more. And I don't think that that's a reason to devalue the old, but I think we're going to have to need to value youth even more, which there's problems with that too.
Life is difficult.
Life is difficult.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, look, 90, life is fucking hard. I remember being 9. I haven't been 90 yet. Hope to do it. But yeah, I remember life was rough. Because the idea of rough is first of all, yo, every time they ask these motherfuckers to get up, like, I feel like they should have just let the old people raise their hand. Like, the kids be in the chairs like immediately. The old people is like they got to cut because it took them a second to get across the room. Why didn't they put the old people's chairs closer to the fucking thing? Like, this is low key. This is aging.
Yes, life is difficult. Thank you. Oh, chivalry is not dead. He's very chivalrous.
Life is hard. Like as a kid, have very bad anxiety, which does not help with how hard life is. There is smooth sailing, and then something bad just strikes up at you, and
Yo, these some articulate ass motherfuckers. I'll tell you that right now. Cause she's carrying a hefty arsenal of emotional intelligence right now. That was crazy. I know niggas that's 38 that can't do shit like that. This motherfucker said, I have anxiety and it exacerbates situations that I'm in because I'm worried about thinking about it. When I get into it, the anxiety makes it even worse and it has a compounding effect. I need to put some respect on these kids' names.
Life has its seasons, just like winter, spring, summer, and fall. You have to really be strong to go through those rough seasons. But yeah, life can be tough. It can be tough. Yeah.
I also think that your lives were kind of harder than ours now because, like, for research, instead of like reading a book and looking for the right specific page, we could do that, but we can also just like internet, and then we can find exactly what we're looking for.
Also, the rights that we have. Back then, if I'm correct, like around the 1930s to the 1940s, life was hard because of segregation, of discrimination, of women's rights. And in some sense, I feel like that today's life is somewhat easier.
Well, guess what, Neil? I think that kids are having it rough today. And I am so glad I'm not of this generation.
I've been bullied. Some have been because of my culture, because of the food I eat, because of the clothes that I wear. People think that I'm different from them.
How do you react to such bullies?
You can't stress on these small things.
My boy Neil, he been here before. He a little bit too ready for this situation. Well, he a little bit too prepared for life. What's going on with these kids? What's 9 years old? That's 4th grade? This 4th grade is moving real wise. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, it's interesting what the woman in the head wrap said, that I wouldn't want to be a kid these days. I mean, I hear a lot of the, there's this sense of doom and things like that. I don't know, maybe we don't really have like a kid-friendly podcast, but the idea of having a kid on to just speak about what they're, like especially like an alpha, because I mean, we've had Gen Zers on the podcast, obviously, but to have like a Gen Alpha person on and just go like, what is the experience of the world right now? But I don't know if that would be inappropriate because it's like, yeah, because even this, I'm looking at this, like a lot of Jubilee's videos I feel they're insightful, but they're low-key problematic because they're putting people in these, I don't know, maybe they are important conversations, but it's like, they'll be like, kids versus pedophiles, like let's have them have a conversation. But the world that people between the ages of like 5 and 15 are going through, I don't know. Is there this massive, and look, if any of our followers are, within that age group, shit, I don't know if you should be watching our shit, but fuck. I'm just very curious. Like, is there this sense that the world is doomed and, that there's just a shit ton of anxiety and overstimulation and information is moving too fast or whatever? Or is like, yeah, no, it's like, it's pretty cool that you can, like, when you want to watch a movie, you can watch a movie. When you want to know something, you can just know something. Like, we discount the misery and shit like that like little kids go through. I feel like we actually lose empathy with ourselves. Like we start to not empathize with like when you feel like low-key feeling regret and embarrassment in your life, I feel like is a lack of empathy for yourself. Because I look back at shit in my life and I think, oh, like would I have done that differently? And it's like, well, what the fuck does that even mean? Because I didn't know what I know now then. Like if you asked me like, what would you have done with your life differently 10 years ago? Like, if I know what I know now, I'd buy a shit ton of, like, Bitcoin or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be making those kinds of decisions because I'm predicting the fucking future. But if you ask, like, what would you do given your emotional state 10 years ago and the things that the person you were trying to build yourself into, what would you do? And it's like, I probably would have done the same things. Because the person that I am now literally has different mental tools available to him to get through certain situations. And that required me going through the journey that has happened over the last 10 years. So I never shit on my past self for previous decisions. I just go, I would do that differently now. I try not to rag on myself for a past mistake if that mistake was based on me trying my best with the information and emotionality that I had available to me at the time. I try not to shit on what that guy did, because that guy was just trying his best to build the life that I currently have. So I have to always respect that and respect him. So I think a lot of times when we look at kids and we say, oh, like this kid is, you know, they drop their lollipop, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but everything is relative, man. Somebody else is looking at you going like, that's first world problems, bro. Like, you're depressed, bro. I'm starving. Shut the fuck up. If you've only experienced 9 years of life and your crush don't like you, like, y'all niggas be ready to kill yourselves because your wife or your husband left you. So I feel like that's at that level, that's the same. That's the first time you've experienced that emotion of like pseudo love and going through that shit. So we need to put some respect on people's emotions, you know, based on where they are.
Life happens.
Well, that's right.
And you have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. You can't say, why did that happen to me? Why not? I mean, why not you? What's so different that it shouldn't happen to you? You can't feel sorry for yourself when something happens.
That's right.
You have to help yourself.
Yo, I'm with Neil on this one. I'm shaking my head like, this old lady, she got some good. I think that you should look at your life as something special, because you are the main character in your life. You're not the main character in everybody's life, but you are the main character in your life. This is the story of you becoming a mother, of you being a sister, of you being a daughter, whatever it is. Those transitions are your life. And you're the only one experiencing that story from a first person subjective perspective. So romance the fuck out of it. Romance the hard times, romance the breakups, romance the jobs that you're going after. Live life to some extent. I mean, there's ways that this can go off the fucking deep end, but like, if you had to imagine, what would it be like if this whole experience was me looking back through a memoir, right? If my life as I was living it right now was me writing my memoirs as I'm, you know, in my later years on my French villa or whatever the fuck, and you're writing that memoir about your life, about your life in your 20s, your life in your 30s, your life in your 40s, the hard times and the difficult times and the things that they earned, the things that were beautiful, the things you do differently. How would you live your life if you could take that little bit of a outside perspective about your life? And I think I do a lot of that. But don't get stuck in this like, oh, I'm super special, like I'm the most important. It's like, no, you're not. No, almost no one is. Like 90% of people are not in the top 10% of people, you know, with regard to significance, talent, skill, whatever.
I just wanted to say quickly that you guys were all really wise. You guys have had ups and downs. You guys have had hardships. And I was very fortunate to talk to you guys. Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not worried about the future because you are the future. I would encourage you all to interview your elders because you don't want to miss out on anything, any facts about your family.
For me, my parting words is that I hope you all have a good day now. Oh, like not even just a good day, a good life.
Thank you. And we hope you do too, and we hope your life is wonderful, life full of interest.
Hold on. Damn. That's nice. That's really nice. Ooh, let's do this one. So yeah, now it's for some more interesting philosophical content.
I like gangbangs. I like being manhandled by several different men at once. If you want to call it being ran, you call it whatever the fuck you want. I'm sexually liberated. And I'm a goddess, and I deserve to have hands all over my body.
Right.
I deserve to be worshipped. Like, why not? I deserve that attention.
There's two ways to look. Okay, there's three ways to look at this. Two of which are valid. So the one way is obviously lots of motherfuckers are going to look at this and go,
"You're a fucking slut. You're a slut."
You know, you're devaluing yourself by being used up and, you know, sullied by these men. Okay, whatever. And that's the thing that these red pill niggas talk about a lot, where value is like a dog whistle for purity, like in the Christian old world style. Like, you're a ruined woman. That's what they're talking about when they talk about this value stuff. And it's not at all about consent or them like not exploring their sexuality or not embracing orgasm or not embracing, you know, which that's fair. I think that there are lots of people, maybe women more so in fact, who are having sex as a means of self-soothing, of taking back power, of gaining attention, and they're not valuing themselves in the sense that they're actually not enjoying the experience that they're having. They're not forming the kinds of relationships or bonds that they want. They're not demanding the kind of love that they actually want from the people that they're fucking. They're not even nutting off the fuck. I think that's all very possible. But the way these motherfuckers are talking about it has nothing to do with that. Because if you go on a podcast and say, I'm a woman and I have 1,000 bodies and I've enjoyed every one of them. I've also had very strong, beautiful, long-lasting relationships. I nut when I fuck. I enjoy myself, right? They don't accept that as valuing yourself. If you say, no, I like getting my pussy eaten by a lot of men because I value myself, you know? If you're a horrible decisions or a shanbu drama, those kind of things, that is not value to them. What they mean is your value as property to men. And if you don't understand that value, what you're doing is not understanding that you have value as your future husband's property. That's what what this whole thing is. Because if you said to any man, yo, and look, some men are going to say no to this, but I'm like, yo, if you were in a situation where you could eat 8 different women's pussies at the same time, would you say yes? If you could get 8 blowjobs at the same time, if you could get 8 pussies at the same time, would you do it? It's like, yeah, of course. Everybody enjoys sex. More sex is even better. And people enjoy being able to experience like variety and lots of different bodies. And like fucking multiple people at the same time where you're the only person of the gender that they're interested in, like not an orgy, but a train, it feels nice. Having 2 women interested in you feels nice. And I'm assuming that the same would have to be true if you're a woman. Like, yo, getting 3 dicks at the same time, especially if it's consensual, they're taking your pleasure into account. They're there for you. You're not simply like a meat doll for them to fuck. Oh, fuck it. And that kind of thing. But if they're actually attending to you, that would feel a lot like being worshipped. That would low-key be a thing that I'm just realizing, yeah, I hope we don't have any Gen Alpha kids in the fucking podcast now that I'm thinking about it. Stop lying on your YouTube thing. This is not
good, clean, family fun.
But just, I don't know. Parents, if you've got children who are there, y'all ask them and you tell me what they think about them. Not this, obviously, about the world and, what it's like to be, a young person. But just coming back to what we're talking about. Sucking a bunch of dick at the same time when you enjoy sucking dick would be
good, clean, family fun.
Joyful. Now, I think the other way of viewing it, the third way of viewing this is how much are you really enjoying yourself? And I think it's one thing to say, I enjoy this thing. I don't know that it makes sense to, it's empowering in the sense that you're not allowing the purity culture slut shaming thing to stop you from doing what you enjoy. But there's definitely a take, which is that like, catering to male pleasure isn't necessarily like freeing, liberating, empowering, really, maybe it is. I think it depends on the energy that the men are coming with. Because if the men think that they're running a train on you, then they're running a train on you, no matter how empowered you think you are. The way that they view you is subhuman. They don't view you as a person properly. But if you're fucking people, and I would have to guess that she probably is, if you're fucking people who are like, no, like we're all here because we really find you really attractive. And I want to eat your pussy while he, fucks your mouth, and then he fucks you, and then we do anal and all of that kind of stuff, and you jerk us off and we exchange pleasure, and it's
good, clean, family fun.
I can imagine that working perfectly. I can imagine that being a great time where everybody's just respectful and wonderful and it's lovely. So here's hoping it's that, and more power to you. You know what I'm saying? Because if I could, I would. I would definitely let a couple of young women, not young, that's crazy. Just a few women run through me. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Through is crazy. Maybe I shouldn't say through. Run on me. Is that, well, I'd fuck multiple women in the same instance is kind of what I mean. I'll just say that. Yeah. Okay, moving on. I've never seen a cut video that wasn't toxic as fuck. They create just the worst fucked up scenarios between people who are either currently in a relationship or could potentially be in a relationship to make the most adversarial, cutthroat scenario where everybody is just so insecure and wants to win the interaction instead of it. So this is porn stars and their partners playing truth or drunk.
What do you do with me that you won't do in a scene?
The thing I do with you that I don't do with anyone else is just have those intimate moments of closeness, which is more beautiful than what I actually get to have in a porn scene.
When we have... Yo. She's hurting. That face that she made of like, yeah, he loves me. It was given very like, why would you cheat on me when you could have asked me to join type of energy.
What do you do with me that you won't do in a scene?
Oh, you by me. Yeah, I don't do that.
You what? Hold on, what did she say here? I'm trying to figure, because I've watched this video before, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck she said. I'm trying to ask if she's saying he comes in her, or maybe I'm trying to let me look at her lips.
What do you do with me that you won't do in a scene?
Oh, you by me. Yeah, I don't do that with anyone else. Oh, you by me.
Cream pie. It's very weird to say cream pie outside of the context of porn. Like, you could have just said come at me. But yeah, but look, coming inside of someone is like a very romantic, like, and I've said this before, I think it's a romantic and intimate experience. I think that a lot of the stuff that we view as like degrading, half of it is because we just view sex wrong. Like, we just view sex as inherently dirty and taboo. And that colors the way we look at a lot of stuff. Nutting in somebody is literally the creation of life. Like, we've divorced it so much from that shit. So whereas, like, sex, nutting in someone and getting pregnant by them is a physical connection, dick to pussy, where you're looking to create life as an expression of physical love.
You found some of my porn. That was how you first found me, right?
Yeah.
So the first time you saw him, he was sleeping with someone else.
Yes.
And you're like, this is the one.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody in porn and being like, yeah, I'm gonna marry this nigga. Yeah, I'm gonna find fucking marry this nigga. It's a little bit unhinged, honestly. It's a little bit unhinged to be watching porn in the middle, because you're only watching porn to jerk off. So I'm assuming she's flicking the bean and is like, you know what? I think I'm gonna make a life plan off this situation. I was just gonna rub one out. I think I'm gonna plan my future around this pornographic video.
Or I definitely got better at my boundaries and what I will and won't shoot. Before I was like, oh yes, sure, whatever. But now I'm like, it's emotionally, mentally not cool to do things that you don't want to do, I guess. Yeah.
No.
It's a lot more physically taxing, a lot more mentally taxing than I was ever prepared for. I can never be 100% whether my dick is going to work or not. It doesn't matter if you have.
You have no idea.
No idea. Because you don't always want to fuck these people. I don't care how much you think every girl that you want to fuck in this industry, you want to fuck them. Guess what? There's been a time I did not want to.
I think the hardest part of my job is just having to perform with someone who is closed off. It just feels like you're having sex with someone who doesn't completely want to have sex, but they want to make money. And it's like an icky.
That concept of like, when you're doing porn, you're having sex with other people who don't want to have sex with you, but they want to make money is like, that sounds like rape with extra steps. Like, I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying like everybody in porn is being raped. I'm not saying that, but it sounds crazy. Like, it doesn't sound right to me. But at the same time, you know, I mean, people are allowed to make decisions, but yeah, it does seem a little bit icky. It seems like it would be hard to perform or produce that content when you're knowing like people are having to like shut their brains off in a very particular kind of way with regard to the sexual acts that they're performing. It's just, yeah, sounds like rape with extra sex to me. I don't know. All right, so hold on real quick, y'all. So y'all know there's this like prank where you do you tell your parents that like their favorite celebrity died. LeVar Burton died, or like Bobby Brown, Ice Cube, whoever their person is, you know what I'm saying, Bon Jovi, whatever. And it's low key funny because some of like these people are like over the top because some celebrity that they're like a big fan of that don't know them from Adam has like passed away.
Jennifer Aniston dead. What? She's my idol.
On Christmas Eve? Why would you do that? Like, it's kind of funny, but it is low-key toxic. Or it could be, because you're kind of using the creation of anxiety and pain in a person in order to create humor. Now, this version of the shit is toxic as fuck. I think that this wasn't thought through. I'm gonna show y'all what happened. So this is Slater Vance, Courtney Vance, and Angela Bassett's son. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood power couple. Look what this nigga did. Hold on, just watch.
Did you wait, Mom, Dad? Did you hear this? Michael B. Jordan dead at 35. 35.
Yeah, but
you're playing. You're 35. You're playing.
What?
That ain't it, homeboy. That is not it, Playboy. Like, and that is not it. That's a whole. Doing a celebrity that a person doesn't know is completely fucking different to someone that person has a relationship with has worked with on a project where they lost another very close coworker or colleague or maybe even friend in Chadwick Boseman. Like, that's crazy as fuck, the emotional turmoil that you put there. And you went to post it on TikTok because they already lost. Like, maybe if the Chadwick shit hadn't happened, this would have been still in poor taste. But with that added, it's crazy as fuck. I know Auntie Angie did not deserve no shit like that. Uncle Courtney did not deserve that shit. Slater, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, I did find out that he's actually like 16. So I'm giving a lot, because like 16-year-old me, I would have definitely did some shit like this. 100%. Shit. Grown me probably would have done some shit like this and not really realize that it was fucked up until like, because I wasn't thinking about the ways that the shit connects. So I get it. Now, this is his apology video. Niggas crying on the internet to apologize, understandably. But I think people want to, I'm going to give grace. 16 years old is a sophomore in high school. The level of maturity and understanding really runs the gamut at that age. You know what I'm saying? Some people are way ahead of like we saw with the 9-year-olds who've got a great grasp on reality and things like that. But also you might not realize elements of context and shit like this that can make a prank deeply emotionally distressing to somebody and deeply culturally distressing, because I think it would have been one thing to do that prank with just Angela and Courtney. It's another thing to do it and then post it in a post-Chadwick death environment. And I think that he missed both of those things. But I'm not going to sit up here and try and cancel some, a 16-year-old for saying something dumb. You know what I'm saying? Let it live. Like, it was dumb, it was bad, but they'll handle that within their family and move past it. And I think he understands that it's fucked up, but but let's watch the apology video real quick. But I'm not big on them.
I would sincerely like to apologize for Michael B. for taking part in such a harmful trend. I apologize to Michael B. Jordan's entire family, his extended family, and him directly as...
Damn, okay, this nigga apologized to everybody. God damn, okay. Did Angela beat his ass? Because this motherfucker just apologized to a whole generations of family in this video.
Is completely disrespectful. I don't wish any bad ramifications of my actions upon his family nor my parents, as they deserve none of the backlash. And I own this was a mistake, and I hope this can be a teaching lesson to anyone else who uses social media as a tool and a source of entertainment to truly understand that your actions can have consequences that extend beyond you. I apologize for any hurt that my actions may have caused Mr. Jordan or my parents or anyone else who could have been involved in this, and I am truly and sincerely sorry, and I apologize. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, I low-key feel sorry for him. I don't think he was thinking, man. Yeah, I'm a shooting bail, man. Courtney and Angela are grown. They'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? It was wrong. It was stupid. It was hurtful. He wasn't thinking. He wasn't thinking. But that's, what I'm saying? People do dumb shit. But yeah, it'll be fine. Like, that sucks. It's bad. That was poor form. It was in poor taste. It was bad. It was harmful. It wasn't a good prank. Let's keep it pushing. But yeah, he should have said somebody else. You know what I'm saying? He should have said goddamn Michael Bolton or some shit. I don't know. Like, just say somebody else. Shouldn't have. Michael B. Jordan is a wild one to pick, but I think he probably picked that because it was like, that's a wild one, boy. I wouldn't have done that one if I was you. Not this day. Well, I'm going to close it out here. This has been Waving the Red Flag. You know what I'm saying? If you're out here and you realize that people aren't valuing your experience because you're like a 9-year-old and they don't value your view and perspective on the world, you may be seeing a red flag. But if you get arrested in Bucharest off of sex trafficking, organized crime, and rape allegations, it might be you that's waving the red flag. This has been Waving the Red Flag podcast. It's your boy Eddie. It's Eddie, and it's Eddie again. Josh and Alvin will be back next week. If you want to join all three of us on the live before every episode on Patreon, come through. We talk live. We answer, patrons' questions. If you want bonus contents, bonus episodes, come through on Patreon. Same thing with the YouTube memberships. Like, subscribe, let us know everything that you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about what I talked about today. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see y'all next week. Have a merry fucking new year, Peace.
It's a red flag.